Welcome to the Word of Life, dear viewers. Today we will discuss a topic we do not generally discuss in our group, family or church, a place of God's final retributive punishment. God, our King and Supreme Judge, eventually rectifies wrongs with his fierce retribution in this place. The condemned will be held accountable for their acts here. This place is known as hell. This discussion explores the biblical understanding of hell, supported by relevant verses, and seeks to provide encouragement by emphasizing the love, hope, and redemption that are integral to the Christian faith. While hell is often viewed as a place of eternal suffering, it is essential to recognize the parallel themes of God's love, forgiveness, and his desire for humanity to find salvation and reconciliation through faith in Jesus Christ. But why did God create hell? Matthew 25 verse 41 states, "Then he will say to those on his left, 'Depart from me, you who are cursed, into the eternal fire prepared for the devil and his angels.'" God is both a holy and a just God, as well as a loving God. These moral characteristics are complementary rather than contradictory. When God's laws are broken, there must be a judgment. God's rules require that sin be paid for. God can still love someone, yet sin cannot go unpunished. This is why Jesus Christ came to earth, to die for the world's sins. Holiness refers to the sacred, pure, and morally perfect nature of God. A holy God is completely set apart from imperfection and sin. Let us go back to the beginning of time, the story of the fallen angel Lucifer. Isaiah 14 verses 12 to 15 tells us, "How you have fallen from heaven, morning star, son of the dawn, you have been cast down to the earth, you who once laid low the nations. You said in your heart, I will ascend to the heavens, I will raise my throne above the stars of God. I will sit enthroned on the Mount of Assembly, on the utmost heights of Mount Zaphon. I will ascend above the tops of the clouds. I will make myself like the Most High. But you are brought down to the realm of the dead, to the depths of the pit." As a result of his rebellion, God expelled Lucifer and the other angels who joined him in his defiance from heaven. He was converted into the opponent or accuser, who was frequently referred to as Satan or the devil. This incident is frequently seen as the source of all evil in the world. Lucifer's fall from grace transformed him into a malevolent and deceptive figure who opposes God's divine plan and seeks to lead humanity astray. He is portrayed as the tempter and the source of sin and suffering. Lucifer and the other angels were hurled down to hell, a region of unending anguish and a lack of love, mercy, and forgiveness. Matthew 8 verse 12 tells us, "But the subjects of the kingdom will be thrown outside into the darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth." The Bible mentions a location of last judgment for people who do not trust in Jesus Christ's salvation. This place is known as hell. It is not an actual location, but rather a state of being. It was described by Jesus as a region of perpetual suffering. Luke 16 verses 19 to 26 remind us, "There was a rich man that dressed in purple and fine linen, who enjoyed luxurious living every day. In front of his gate, a beggar named Lazarus was placed, covered with sores, and hungering to be fed crumbs that fell from the rich man's table. Even the dogs came and licked his sores. The beggar died and was carried by the angels to Abraham's bosom. The rich man also died and was buried. And while suffering torture in Hades, he looked up and from a distance saw Abraham with Lazarus in his bosom. So he called out, 'Father Abraham, take pity on me, and send Lazarus to dip his fingertip in water and cool my tongue, for I am tormented in this fire.' But Abraham said, 'Son, remember that you enjoyed the good things in your lifetime, while Lazarus had the bad things. Now he is being comforted here, but you are suffering anguish. Besides, there is a great chasm fixed between you and us, so that those who want to cross from here to you are unable. Neither can they cross from your side to us.'" Isaiah 66 verse 24 says, "They shall go forth. They shall gaze upon the dead bodies of those who have rebelled against me. For their worm shall not die, nor shall their fire be quenched. They shall be an abhorrence to all mankind." Mark 9 verse 44 teaches us, "Where their worm never ceases and the fire is not put out." These verses depict the appearance of hell. Some persons claim to have had a glimpse of hell in their testimonies. We may not be able to imagine the entire picture of hell, but one thing is certain, it is not intended for human souls. Human beings who are created in God's image, are not meant to spend eternity away from the presence of God. The place God created for them is heaven. Jesus spoke of this place that God has prepared for those who trust him. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you to myself, that where I am, there you may be also. John 14 verses 2 and 3. Hell was not created for humanity, but rather for those who reject God's salvation through Jesus Christ. Revelation 20 verses 11 to 15 states, "Then I saw a great white throne, and him who was seated on it. The earth and the heavens fled from his presence, and there was no place for them. And I saw the dead, great and small, standing before the throne, and books were opened. Another book was opened, which is the book of life. The dead were judged according to what they had done as recorded in the books. The sea gave up the dead that were in it, and death and Hades gave up the dead that were in them. And each person was judged according to what they had done. Then death and Hades were thrown into the lake of fire. The lake of fire is the second death. Anyone whose name was not found written in the book of life was thrown into the lake of fire." It encourages us to consider our actions and the state of our hearts, as we will be judged based on what we have done. The book of life offers hope that those whose names are written in it will be spared from the lake of fire, highlighting the importance of faith in Jesus Christ for salvation. Revelation 22 verse 12 reads, "Look, I am coming soon, my reward is with me, and I will give to each person according to what they have done." The prophesied return of Jesus and the reward he brings with him. It inspires us to live faithfully and according to Jesus' teachings in the Bible, because we shall be rewarded based on our actions. Revelation 21 verse 4 says, "He will wipe every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death or mourning or crying or pain, for the old order of things has passed away." This part describes the new heaven and new earth. It conveys a message of hope, promising believers that God will wipe away all tears and there will be no more sorrow in the end. For those who have accepted God's grace, the final judgment leads to a new and perfect existence. This serves as both a warning and a source of encouragement. It warns of the consequences of unrepentant sin and rebellion, but it also encourages believers to remain faithful, seek righteousness, and look forward to the ultimate fulfillment of God's plan, where there will be no more suffering and God's justice will prevail. Finally, the final judgment is considered as the fulfillment of God's purpose, in which justice is fulfilled and his sovereignty is fully realized. The assurance of God's eventual victory over sin and suffering can provide consolation and encouragement to believers. This also reflects the balance between God's justice and mercy. While there are consequences for one's actions, God also offers the hope of forgiveness and eternal life to those who have placed their faith in him. The concept of free will is tied to the creation of hell. God grants us the ability to choose between good and evil. Hell exists because people use their free choice to reject God and participate in wicked behavior. The creation of hell emphasizes the idea that individuals bear responsibility for making decisions that are in accordance with God's will and moral ideals. It highlights the importance of one's decisions and their eternal consequences. This should encourage us to self-reflect and willingly turn away from a life of sin. It suggests that we have the opportunity to change our paths and seek forgiveness and salvation. Hell is a real place. Hell's unending fire consumes the flesh and the worms that enter and exit the bodies. The good news is that you still have time today. If you have been ignoring Jesus and do not have a connection with him, now is your chance. This is not a message of fear, but of knowledge that we are only here for a short time. This is not our permanent residence. Our everlasting destination is either heaven, where God's love is abundant and there are no tears or hunger, or hell, a world of unending torture where love and forgiveness is absent. Make a decision today and choose Jesus. We hope this discussion has shed light on the subject and encouraged deep reflection on the significance of faith, morality, and the opportunity for redemption. If you found this information useful and want to learn more about important topics like these, please consider liking this content and subscribing for more insightful conversations and learning. Your contributions enable us to continue providing thought-provoking views and solutions to your questions. Thank you for being a part of our community, and we hope to share more information with you in the future.